Hello everyone, I hope you must doing well. So in this video what we are going to learn, about the 3D cursor and the origin. Okay, in many tutorials of different channel you have already got a question, right? How these two work, right? The 3D cursor and the origin. Okay, all right. So currently we are having our default cube, okay, and the shader which I'm using the matte cap under this one. Okay, so this is just a viewport shading. It is not going to affect on the render. Okay, it is just for the working area, right? For the working purpose. All right. If I talk about this object, there is a orange dot in the middle. Okay, to explain about the origin, let's add a screencast and let's add this object. All right, and make this in this location. Okay, so we are having two things. The first thing is the origin. Okay, so this object is having the origin at the center. Okay, and that is of the orange color. All right, and the 3D cursor is over here. The 3D cursor icon can be also visible over here, right? If you are going to click on this object, the origin of this object is also over here, and the 3D cursor is also over here. Okay, so let's take a 3D cursor over here. So what you can do, you can press Shift S in your keyboard, then there are different options will appear in your screen, and this one option you needed to click, which determines cursor to selected. Okay, by this effect, whatever object you are selected with, the 3D cursor will get automatically updated to that object. Okay, so how these things matter and how we gonna help with those the origin points. Okay, so for that what we can do, let's decrease the size of cube and increase the size of this one, the shape. Okay, so what I want to tell you, for example, if you want to rotate this object, right? So what you going to do, you will press R and Z, that it is rotating, right? Or probably you are going to use this option, right? Which is also good, no issue. Okay, it's the same thing, right? If you want to use these tools, it's completely fine. And if you want to use the shortcut key, right, by the help of your keyboard, it is also fine, right? But what if you want to move this object around the cube, but the origin should be at this point? Okay, so how you can do that? So for that, let's bring the annotation so that I can explain you a bit more. Okay, so I want the origin should be here of this object, and I want to rotate it like this. Okay, it is seems like a wall clock. Okay, it is an example of watch, right, in which let's erase it. Okay, we got that. Okay, so what I decided, I want to move this object from this origin. Okay, so for that what we needed to do, so first thing, let's hide the annotation. Okay, so the first thing, we want the origin of this object, that orange dot should be in this location. Okay, by this effect we can move this object from considering this point as a origin. Okay, so right now the orange origin is right over here. The reason why, when you going to press R and Z, I mean to rotate this object, it is rotating from that point, right? And why it is rotating at that point? Because the origin is over here. Okay, but if I place the origin over here, for example, then probably we hoping that it should work, right? So let's do that. Yeah, so to change the location of the mm, the origin okay, so for that, shift as selected to cursor. I want this origin should be over here. Okay, we can hide the cube also. Okay, right now, and we want the origin of this object should be over here. Okay, so for that we are having a option of object. Under the object you are having a option of set origin, and under the set origin you are having a option like 5 options you are having. Okay, so the third option, if you consider the origin to 3D cursor, which means the origin to 3D cursor, it means it will move the origin to the 3D cursor. Okay, object set origin to 3D cursor. Okay, when I'm gonna click on this, you can see the origin will move to this location. All right, yeah, it is moved to this location. Okay, so whatever rotation we will apply, it will be applied from this point. Why it is will applied from this point? Because the origin of this object is right over here. Previous it is over here. By this effect it was rotating from there. It is right now over here. Okay, so if we are going to rotate this object right now, we can see we are having this thing. I hope you got my point. Okay, so for example, if I place the 3D cursor over here, and by selecting this object, again origin to 3D cursor, now the 3D cursor is over here, and also the origin of this object is over here, because we are selecting origin to 3D cursor. Okay, so wherever the 3D cursor is, the origin will be also relocated to that same location. I hope it's clear now. And if we gonna rotate from here, we can see it is rotating from here, from this point. Why this point? Because the origin of this object is over here. Okay, I hope it is clear now. Yeah, so before ending this video, if you want if you want the origin should move to its own original place. Okay, for example, let's add this one. Here you can see, right, the origin is at the center. So by manipulating things, the origin of this object is over here. Okay, I'm not talking about the 3D cursor. The icon is shown over here. I'm talking about orange dot. Okay, so how you can do that? So again, you are wondering that we can place the 3D cursor at the center. Okay, then we are having the 3D cursor at the center, relocated at the center, and after that we going to set origin to 3D cursor. Okay, let's do that also. Shift S cursor to selected. It will not select. All right, it will not. Okay, so for that, you are right, we needed to place this cursor over at the center, but not in the object mode. We needed to switch in the edit mode. Okay, so edit mode, by pressing A, you are selected with all the faces. Why you selected with all the faces? Because we are currently in the face mode. All right, now you needed to press Shift S and cursor to selected. Okay, now you can see the 3D cursor, right, is over here at the center. Okay, but the origin is still over here. So the same process, I want the origin should be relocated to the location where the 3D cursor is. Okay, so object set origin and origin to 3D cursor. Okay, so it is over here. Okay, so the practical example which I already told you, if you having or modeling any watch, right, and if you want to animate that minute or second hand, right, so you can have this. Okay, for example, let's scale it, let's hide this one, and okay, so for example, this is a minute hand and you want to rotate it. Okay, so for that you needed to place the 3D cursor over here. Okay, so for that you can there are multiple ways you can select, even this also. Okay, by this effect you are having a 3D cursor over here. Okay, or you can go into the edit mode by selecting this face only and shift S cursor to selected, then it will snap to the at the center only. Okay, so that is the right location. Then again, object set origin to 3D cursor, the origin is over here, and now we can rotate it. Okay, now we can rotate it. Okay, so this will help you in many ways. Okay, we are having multiple problems also when you are dealing with modifiers, right? The mirror modifier and any modifier. All right, yeah, so you can have this. Okay, so I hope the thing which I came for, it is clear now, and in the next video we are going to discuss more tips. Okay, more learning, and bye bye.